Our oceans have already lost 90% of the world's shark populations, triggering a cascading effect that will change the dynamics of life in the sea forever. In this world of accountability, why should one culture be allowed to destroy the balance in our planet's seas? How can we allow a soup dish to become the recipe for the global collapse of shark populations? Despite growing awareness, the demise of sharks in our oceans may just be too complex and widespread an issue to prevent, requiring drastic and immediate action with only one unquestionable solution: a global ban of the trade in shark fins. Over the last 20 years, Arabia has collectively been a significant supplier of shark fin to the Far East. In this two-part film, we set out on a series of expeditions and investigations to understand the true status of sharks remaining in the seas of Arabia.
What we're hoping to achieve with Sharkquest is a process that will make people think, perhaps rethink the way they perceive sharks, but also on a bigger scale to help them reconnect with the marine environment, which was for so long a huge part of this region, the Middle East and Arabia's heritage.
Visiting shark hotspots and centers of fishing activities, we show just how close to collapse the Middle East shark populations really are.
The role of sharks in the natural environment is essential. It's crazy to think otherwise. They are in effect managing the natural resources of life on the reef from the top of the food chain. For any ecosystem to function properly, you need to have an apex species that is responsible for thinning out the infirm or sick or weak or perhaps even genetically weak species that are present on a reef. And sharks perform that role.
We meet and talk with local fishermen about the role they play and the changes they are seeing themselves.
Well, the biggest driver is probably the demand, and it's Chinese people who demand it. Chinese people, especially in China, but also in Hong Kong, in Indonesia, and Singapore, in these places, they want shark fin soup, and that's the main driver for this.
We follow a consignment of shark fins all the way to Hong Kong, witnessing the alarming scale of trade from the Arab world.
Looking to see if we could find some hammerheads, but we didn't find any.
We meet and talk to Arab and international researchers and conservationists, studying the sharks in the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea and Arabian Gulf.
It was very frustrating that to feel that we're giving up our environment to supply the demand of international market, especially that it's not part of our culture. Although that the number of sharks that have been landing in fish markets for their fins is relatively small, but when collectively added with the other fish markets in the Arabian Gulf, it is considered to be one of the largest suppliers for the Asian market.
These fins from sharks in the Red Sea, from sharks in the Arabian Sea or the Arabian Gulf, are going to end up in a small soup bowl. It has no cultural connection to the sharks of this region. Therefore, it seems such an inordinate waste of our regional resources to allow fishermen to deconstruct the mechanism that supervises and maintains the ecosystems in the natural balance.
I'm really afraid that they're going to be wiped out from the seas before we really understand them and know their secrets.
Coming to Sudan was imperative. We had to get here. And perhaps starting the project with Sudan was a good thing because it gave us exposure to a country that is renowned for having a high density of sharks. However, what I feel we leave Sudan with is a growing sense of concern. Despite the reputation it has, it's been clear to see that we haven't seen as many sharks as we had hoped.
I'm afraid that the shark finning has already taken its effect here, and that there are not that many sharks anymore as there used to be in the old days.
The Arabian Peninsula has been largely overlooked within the shark research community, particularly trying to get some sort of idea about baselines. That's something very important that most shark fisheries lack, is some idea of what the shark populations were like before we started exploiting them.
Highlighting new and emerging data that will position Arabia's seas as nurseries for Indian Ocean populations of whale sharks, tiger sharks, and another of other species. This is the story of Arabia's sharks, adding an Arab voice of concern to a global story. We ask, can sharks be saved before it is too late? And can the Arab nations set an example to the rest of the world?